Hey everyone, it's Chris. I'm back, and I am an American living out my midlife crisis in the Netherlands. I've adjusted my mic, so hopefully this video quality will be better than the last one. I've definitely struggled with this new mic, so we'll just make adjustments as we go. But today I wanted to chat about something I just wrote about on my Substack. I like to sometimes cover these topics in both formats because as I'm talking, I think different things come out than when I'm actually sitting there and thinking and writing and trying to get a certain point across. And I also know that there's a lot of people that just don't read things and our videos are better or vice versa. And so why not offer it in both formats? And the thing I want to talk about is how DAFT, the Dutch American Friendship Treaty, has been in the news lately for lots of different things, which is, I think, very cool. Last week, it started with a New Yorker article, which I was lucky enough to be mentioned in a couple of paragraphs anyway, and it's a very long article about how to leave the U.S. And it's supposed to be in print this week, although I have yet to be able to find one in the Netherlands so far. So I'm on the hunt for that pretty much as we speak. And the thing is that the Dutch American Friendship Treaty, or I'll just call it DAFT from now on, it's really an underutilized visa or residency permit, and I say it's underutilized because we got some numbers this week as well from a local news source called NL Times, and the numbers that they had is through September, about 7,000 Americans have moved to the Netherlands this year. And, that may seem like a lot of people, and it is up from previous years, but it's still a pretty small number when you look at the overall immigration numbers, which at the halfway point of the year, the overall immigration numbers were at 141,000 people. So even if we don't count the second half of the year, it's about what, 3% of people that have moved here, and so that'll go down significantly as we get the second half of the year numbers here. And then of those 7,000 people that have moved here through September anyway, about 700 of them have applied for DAFT. So about 10%. And so to me, that's a pretty small number. The number is significantly more than previous years, which is not surprising given the current political climate and the fascism and everything else that's happening in the United States right now. And so when you really look at DAFT and consider 700 people out of what's probably going to be close to 200,000 people that have moved to the Netherlands this year, so it's a really relatively small number of people that are utilizing DAFT as a way to get out of the United States right now. And I bring this up because every time a DAFT story circulates, the people on DAFT that are here in the Netherlands kind of, as an overall statement, have kind of an adverse reaction to it. And there's some negativity around the press. And that kind of bugs me because for me, you know, DAFT was our ticket out of the United States. And I think it's important that people know this option exists. There's still going to be lots of factors that keep people from being able to come to the Netherlands on DAFT, and the number one thing is probably just cost more than anything else. It's expensive to move internationally. Even if you showed up with just a few bags, it's still going to be money that you're going to have to pay for probably rent up front. It's going to be at least 4,500 euros that you're going to invest in a business. Some of those businesses need things, physical things like a van, for instance. And for me, that was a huge part of our cost when we moved here, was buying my van. So anyway, all this to say, like, I just don't understand why some people get concerned when something like DAFT ends up in the news, because to me, the more people that know that there is a way out, or at least an option, the better. Like it's a good thing. There's a reason I started this YouTube channel and my Substack, for instance. Like I I want people to know how I got out, so that possibly it's an option for them. For many people, this will still not be an option. And the concerns that I see online have to do with renewals, for instance. So right now, it's fairly straightforward to get a renewal. After 2 years of being on DAFT, you have to basically show that you put significant effort into building a business here, or you need to show revenue. And if you're starting a brand new business, you maybe don't have a whole lot of revenue, and the Dutch government at this point in time are totally okay with that. If you have an existing business that you're transferring over to DAFT, then it's really not that big a deal. Either way, the whole point of DAFT is to come over here and provide either goods or a service or something to the Dutch general public. And, I really do feel strongly, if there are people out there that are on DAFT that aren't actively working a business, then they probably shouldn't be here. And that's okay. Like, there's other options. And then the other thing that people seem to be concerned about is just DAFT going away entirely. And I do have a few concerns around there, but I really think that something like DAFT is extremely low on the table. And the thing is, it is a friendship treaty between the United States and the Netherlands. And there's a concern in the future about how friendly those two countries are going to be, any challenges that might bring. But I also think that the Dutch government isn't going to just say, okay, 700 people who applied this year, it's time for you to leave now. I mean, maybe I'm being naive about that, but I really don't think that it would be that fast that they would say, you got to go. And I realize that immigration as a whole is a very politicized topic right now, and the far right governments are very much trying to crack down on immigration. Obviously, we're seeing it in the United States right now, but we saw it in our country here with Geert Wilders and what he is wanting to do, with immigration and tighten it up and not allow refugees into the country anymore and things like that. And I get that this is a touchy topic. There are potentially hundreds of thousands of people that are affected by immigration laws in pretty much any given country. So first we had the New Yorker that came out last week, and then we also had a couple of DAFTers that I was lucky enough to help over a few different days. We're featured in the NL Times, which is a local publication here, and then also on our NOS station, they were interviewed for a segment that aired. I think it was on Sunday, but I'll link all of that in the description below, so you can see what the news is for DAFT right now. I think the biggest thing that bothers me when people have a problem with other people learning about DAFT is that, to me, it just feels very much like, this is okay for me, but it's not okay for you. Like, if it's okay for me to come to the Netherlands on the DAFT visa, then I have no complaints and no concerns about you coming on the DAFT visa. Like, it's really that simple. It is a very legal way to come to a great country, and more people should be taking advantage of it. And maybe if we get to a point where it's 40, 50, 60% of the Americans that are moving here, we're going to start to see some concerns from the government about, hey, maybe we need to crack down on this. Maybe we need to make sure that the people coming here are making a certain amount of money. Like, none of that is required right now, but it's definitely possible. And, to me, totally okay and understandable in the future if they want to put out parameters like that. So overall, I think it's great that DAFT is in the news lately. I think more people need to know about it, and in particular, folks that can come here and start a business and provide a good or a service or something to the general public here. And really, what it is they want some tax revenue. And if they can come here and do all that and follow the rules of DAFT, why not be excited about more people coming here? Like, this is truly a great place to live. And I can say after nearly 20 months of living here that I'm really happy. I am so happy that we decided to come here and take this chance, because you never really know where life is going to take you. And I know that, had somebody told me 2 years ago that I'd be living in the Netherlands and I'd have a YouTube channel and I'd be helping people escape from the United States, I would have just laughed. There's no way I would have seen with a crystal ball that this is where my life was going to take me. But I'm so happy it did. So, anyway, I hope you're finding these videos useful. I did promise I was going to get one a week out, at least for the rest of the month. And so here we are. Hopefully, I can get this out to you, and it brings a little more information on DAFT and what's been happening on DAFT in the news. I've heard from a few of you about some topics that you would like me to do a video on. I just wanted to let you know I've got those in the queue, and I will definitely be covering those that have been requested. But if you have something specific that you want me to chat about living here in the Netherlands, or about DAFT, or about how you can get out of the US, just drop a comment. Let me know what you want to hear about, and I will be happy to follow up and do a video about it. Until next time, stay safe.